Good morning, girls. Today we are going to see about indifference curve analysis. Learning outcome of the topic: design optimization techniques using indifference curve analysis to attain consumers' equilibrium in a apply level. Creating awareness about the decision making among the consumers. According to Watson, an indifference schedule is a list of combinations of two different commodities, the list being so arranged that a consumer is indifferent to the combinations, preference none of any other. An indifference curve is a graphical analysis and representation of a combined products that gives similar kind of satisfaction to a consumer. It means the consumer will get the same level of satisfaction when they are using two different combinations. It's nothing but indifference curve is based on the consumer's scale of preference. Assumptions of indifference curves are: the consumer acts rationally, that is, they have to see that how to get the maximum satisfaction by using of two different commodities. There are two goods, for example, X commodity and Y commodity. Even we can assume many commodities also. The consumer possesses complete information about the price of the goods which is available in the market. Next one, the price of the two goods are constant. The consumer's taste, habits and income of the consumer should remain constant for the full analysis. He prefers more of X commodity, automatically he should consume only less of Y commodity or vice versa. The properties of indifference curves are: an indifference curve is a downward sloping curve and it slopes convex to the origin. Two indifference curves need not be parallel or vertical to each other. Curves plotted higher and further to the right corresponding with the higher level of utility or satisfaction. The plot which is left to the curve which gives less satisfaction. Various indifference curve can never cross or overlap. It's nothing but it's not intersecting each other. An indifference curve does not touch the axis, whether it may be a x-axis or a y-axis. It never touches each other. Schedule: just we are assuming that we have only two different commodities. One is banana and another one is biscuits. We assume that in your first combination we are consuming one banana with 20 biscuits. In a second combination, we are consuming 2 banana and 15 biscuits. And in the third, 3 banana and 12 biscuits. And in the fourth case, 4 banana and 10 biscuits. And in the last combination, 5 banana with 9 biscuits. It means that we are choosing the combination by way of one commodity is increasing and the other commodity is decreasing. For example, we are increasing the combination of banana and decreasing the combination of biscuits. But the combinations, each and every combination will give you only the same level of satisfaction. That is the analysis over here. We have to see the rate of substitution. Under the rate of substitution, we have 1:5 in the first combination. Like that, 1:3. 1:2 and 1:1 is the last combination. For activity, you just imagine that your housewife is a very healthy, conscious about the family. The lady is taking equal satisfactions. The family or the housewife is considering two different health aspects. One is considering as a like for example, we can consider one is a English medicine, another one is a acupuncture. But nowadays, they are taking two different medicines. Sometimes they used to take a medicine, sometimes they used to take a allopathy or Ayurveda. Like that, they have the combinations. What do you mean by indifference map then? It's nothing but we have so many plots or so many curves, that will be called as indifference map. By that way, we will have, this is the map diagram. Indifference 1, 2, 3, we can see that the indifference 1 is given less satisfaction, 2 is given better, more satisfaction, 3 is given the higher satisfaction. Indifference map is a graphical representation of two or more indifference curves sloping the several combinations of different quantities of commodities which consumer consumes given his income by means of the market price, and the level of income of the consumer remains constant for the combinations. To get the maximum satisfaction, it purely depends on two different conditions. One is the relative price of the two different commodities going to be the main concept. The another one, income of the consumer. So the relative price is nothing but the substitute commodities prices is called as relative price. So the income of the consumer and the relative price of the consumer is going to decide the satisfaction of the individual. Now we are going to see about the price line or budget line. So budget line means it's nothing but the current income of the consumer is going to decide the combination of the commodity. So how to understand the budget line? It's nothing but you're drawing a line between x-axis and the y-axis will give you the budget line. If you select any point on the budget line will give you the equal satisfaction. For example, if you select any point within the budget line, so called as point K, you cannot select that point because in indifference curve analysis, the consumer is not in a position to save any amount of the income which is earned by the individual. So you cannot select point K because the saving is not possible in indifference curve analysis. That means it's ruled out in the assumption. If you select any point outside the budget line, so called as point H, you cannot select that because you are not having that much level of income, because the budget line is nothing but the level of income of the individual. So you cannot select any point outside the budget line. So what you should understand is you cannot select any point within the budget line or outside the budget line because it is not going to be your analysis. So how to get the consumer equilibrium with the budget line means you have to select any one point on the budget line, then you can have the equilibrium position, or we can say that the consumer is going to get the equilibrium point. So any point on the budget line, for example point F, we can see it in the other diagram. Point Q on the budget line, that is so called as the indifference curve 3. Point Q is marked as a equilibrium point. This is your consumer equilibrium, because I already explained you cannot any point within the budget line or outside the budget line. You can select only point Q to get the maximum consumer satisfaction or equilibrium. Same way, you cannot select the point R, S, T, H by that way. Y means if you select point Q only, it is the tangent point. The budget line is the tangent point in the indifference curve 3. You cannot select R, S. Why? Because this 2 point R and S is laying on the indifference curve 1 and 2. So the indifference curve, we know already that the indifference curve, higher the indifference curve, you will get the higher level of satisfaction. So here the tangency point on the budget line and the indifference curve is laying only on indifference curves 3, that is point Q. That is the reason why we are not in a position to select point R, H, T and S, H. So we are not in a position to select that 4 points because it is lays on IC1 and IC2. Now I think you can understand why we are not selecting any point outside the budget or inside the budget line. So automatically what the conclusion is, the consumer is achieved when the price line tangential to the indifference curve means in that position only you can get the consumer's equilibrium, or you can get the optimum level of satisfaction. Is that clear? Thank you.